Hello and welcome back to my channel. It has been such a very long time since I've been uploading this consistently, so I think we're overdue a catch up. If one thing's for certain, it's that I can talk for England, so this video is probably going to be a little bit on the longer side, so please feel free to grab yourself a drink, get some snacks and settle in for a good catch up. Side note, sorry if my voice goes really croaky, I am battling off a cold at the moment, so I've got my ginger and lemon tea and I'm just hoping I can get through this video without losing my voice. Maybe that's a little incentive for me to not chat so much. I'm going to talk a little bit about where I've been, big changes that have happened, burnout and what's coming next. So, I mean, if you look back on my channel, you would see that I was really consistently posting around 2021, 2022, even though it was still COVID times and things were really difficult in other ways. Because we had such reduced social mobility at that time, I felt like I had so much more time to focus into other things like creative pursuits like YouTube. And YouTube is something that I've wanted to do literally since I was like 8 years old, since YouTube first ever came out. I was subscribed to and obsessed with all the beauty gurus growing up, and I just used to watch their videos and wish, I wish I could put myself out there. I wish I was confident enough to do this. One day I'll do it. And I'm my own biggest critic, so I really held myself back from doing it for the longest time. And then I felt like in COVID, because of all the stuff going on, I really got into this mentality of even if you feel scared, just do it anyway, life's too short. And I feel like it was such a good era for my confidence. Obviously there was other stuff going on, I was at uni, COVID itself was obviously really stressful and scary, but actually I feel like that helped my confidence so much more because it made me realise what really mattered and what didn't. And I've always been a massive perfectionist. I've always wanted to do things to a really high standard, and therefore I've put myself under a lot of pressure for most of my life. And that spans across everything, so not just school but all my extracurriculars. I always wanted to be the best, and would really struggle if I made any mistakes or anything like that. I would really mull over them again and again and again, and this would again deflate my confidence and make me so much less likely to put myself out there. So in 2021, when I was actually doing that, when I was actually posting like I wanted to for so long, it gave me so much more confidence and I felt so proud of myself, and it was something I just loved doing. I love sitting down and thinking about what I want to share, planning it out, filming it and then editing it. I find the whole process so fun and I feel so fulfilled when I hit publish. So it was something that I was really enjoying doing back then. Then towards the end of 2021 going into 2022, you'll see that the videos kind of start to drop off a little bit, and that is when I went back to uni in Nottingham for my third year. Lockdown really eased at that time, so we were able to obviously socialise a lot more then. And although this was something I was really looking forward to and a really exciting thing, I think that just added an extra thing onto a very full plate. I already had uni, I was having to work quite a lot as well. I mean, most of my friends at uni didn't work a job full stop. I had 3 days off a week at uni and I was having to work 2 of them, so there was that pressure. We went from a completely remote year in 2020 to 2021 to suddenly you're expected to be in for your lectures and seminars, and it just, the whole dynamic shifted quite a lot. Nightlife was reintroduced, just so much was changing, and I think obviously it was a really good thing. I'm very thankful and grateful to be out of lockdown. It was very overwhelming and I really didn't have enough time or space to process that, I don't think. And I was doing quite difficult subjects as well, so I felt like I just kind of had a lot going on in the day-to-day. A lot I was trying to process because I feel like my head was a year and a half behind, and I was just like a pressure cooker, I think, just kind of waiting to blow my lid. And all it really took was one small thing to tip me over the edge. And when it did, I literally felt like I'd been sprinting on a treadmill for years and years and years, and someone had just come along and hit the stop. That's how it felt for me. I don't think this burnout situation that I went through in third year was something that had just sprung up on me. I think this was years and years and years of trying to overachieve, knocking myself down, bullying myself, being really horrible to myself. I think it was all just adding up. And then this was the point where I just kind of tipped over the edge. So what happened to me when I kind of hit this wall was I suddenly became super exhausted. I had no energy. I remember I was waking up with heart palpitations every single day. I wasn't getting any sleep. partly due to my flat in third year, which was just horrific. It was in a really, really noisy space, and Sean, my partner, who's in the army, he can sleep sat up. He couldn't sleep with earplugs in my flat. So that should show you how difficult it was. Bear in mind, I have insomnia as well, so really a recipe for chaos. I was waking up, with like these nightmares, with heart palpitations. I'd actually come off the pill around 6 months prior as well, so all of my hormone fluctuations are really kicking in at this point. I had a really bad acne, back knee, my hair started falling out. I also started having like an allergic reaction around my eyes, and it's something that I'd had every year around September time, and we couldn't work out what it was. The GPs were refusing to do an allergy test and sending me to the opticians. The opticians were sending me to my GPs. It was so long. I think I've worked out through like process of elimination that it was actually gel, like builder gel, the dust. It's quite common to cause eye allergies, but all this stuff was going on. I felt like I couldn't leave the house anymore because I was so embarrassed of how I looked. I didn't look great because of all this stuff that was going on, and I know that feels like quite a vain thing to say, oh, I was like scared to leave the house. I wasn't like disfigured or anything, but I feel like it was just such another knock to my confidence. Like, not only was I so anxious and stressed and exhausted, but I also didn't feel like I looked like myself. So just leaving the house was so daunting and so overwhelming. I just kind of felt like in this catch-22 where like everything around me was falling apart. And this was meant to be such a happy period of time in my life as well. Like, Sean and I got engaged, we got the house, we started moving in, and all of this amazing stuff was going on, and yet internally my body was like falling apart. So I ended up just having to let something give, and that did mean having to kind of press stop on YouTube, which was something I really didn't want to do, but it was, I needed to do my uni degree, I needed to go to work. Those were kind of non-negotiables, and YouTube is a hobby, and I just had to let it drop, which was so unfortunate. And I think once you kind of get out of the loop and the schedule of posting, it's so hard to get back into it. While you're in a good groove of things, I feel like it's so much easier to keep posting. It's like a workout and like an exercise regime, right? Like, the first trip to the gym or the first run is always the hardest because your mind's playing against you, whereas once you get a bit of momentum, it's so much easier. And it's the same thing with posting. Even though I enjoy this entire process, and I've been filming videos this entire time, just not editing up and uploading them, I think I've just had like a blocker in my brain of like, I don't want to put myself out there, I'm scared, what if I'm judged, kind of like that fear of being perceived, which I can kind of like look at now and be like, oh, I wish I didn't feel that way, because I am really overly harsh on myself. Even this video, I filmed it about 6 times and I've just scrapped it because I've hated it. I'm such a perfectionist, and not to say that this video is going to be perfection, obviously it's not, but there'll just be like one thing that bugs me while I'm editing and I'm like, oh, get rid of it. So hopefully this one sticks. I think that then causes it to be such a bigger, more momentous task in my head. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to engage with this hobby because I'm going to fail and I'm not going to do it right. When my confidence is so low to begin with, I don't want to do something that will make it worse, even though the actual net effect is me feeling more confident, more fulfilled, more happy. I think when you're in a bad place, sometimes our brains can kind of play tricks on us, and we think we're protecting ourselves, but actually we're just kind of not putting ourselves out there. Anyway, so what's happened since then? So right now I'm sat in our lovely home in Windsor. So Sean and I moved in together in 2022, which I did document a little bit of. I think that's probably one of the last videos before I disappeared. And I moved into the house full time in April. As soon as my lessons were done at uni, like the in-person ones, I moved straight here. I wanted to be in a house where I could sleep through the night and not get woken up. And when I tell you, I literally remember my first night here, and it was a bit of a palaver, but that's a story for another time. But actually going to sleep, I remember it was silent, and I was like, wow, I've never appreciated silence so much in my life, honestly. Then it came round to exam season, and because of all of the effects of the last year, I'd actually gone through quite a lot of stuff in my final year. Yes, really happy stuff, but also some really tricky stuff as well, very triggering situations. And it had really set my mental health back. plus like this burnout situation, right? So I did one of my exams from this house. I stayed up, did an all-nighter to try and get it done. I ended up being really ill. Again, story for another time, it's so embarrassing. But yeah, I was sick while I was doing my exam and it just was not a great experience. I did submit it, which I actually regret now, and I'll get onto why in a sec. But then I actually ended up deferring. Sean and I had a really like very upfront conversation after I'd been ill of like, look, this isn't sustainable, maybe I need to talk to the uni and see what could be done. So we ended up deferring the rest of my exams. At that time, I felt like I'd failed, and I felt again just really rubbish in myself, really like low in my confidence. But looking back now, honestly, it was the best thing I ever did for myself, and it was not failing, it was choosing myself, choosing my health, choosing to give myself grace, which is a major thing for me in the past few years, and choosing to give myself this time and space to do things well, not just rushing because that's what I think everyone expects me to do, when actually no one really cares. So yeah, I'm like the biggest advocate of, if you need extra time, take the extra time, whether it's like, you know, notification of extenuating circumstances, or if you're going to defer, do it. Even if it feels scary, even if you feel like you're failing, you're not. It's so much better to do it when you've had the time, space, etc., to give good energy to it. I'm not talking about delaying things for delaying's sake, but if you've gone through a hard time and you know you're not in the right headspace really, there's only so much you can grin and bear, you know? Anyway, at this point I was working a retail job in Windsor, so I actually branched out and I tried to find a legal sector job really. I ended up becoming a paralegal for a little bit in a law firm, and I won't say much because I just don't think it's very professional too, but it just wasn't for me. My health deteriorated so much because I was so stressed all the time, so overwhelmed. And I don't think it's law itself, because I did a bit of work experience in a lovely immigration firm in Nottingham, and I absolutely loved it, even though it was only like a day a week. They were so lovely, kind, and I really enjoyed it, and I felt like I learned so much. And yeah, it wasn't a very like good environment for me, not somewhere I was thriving, quite the opposite. So I didn't work there for too long, started looking around for any job. When I tell you like any office admin job, I was desperate. I ended up, a bit rogue, applying for British Airways. I don't know, I just had this idea in my head of like, Sean gets to travel and see the world all the time, and it's amazing. I did quite a little bit of traveling growing up, not with my family or anything, but with like brownies, girl guides and stuff like that. I went to Switzerland, I went to Iceland with school, and I absolutely loved it. And I actually had a nail girl back in Nottingham who worked for British Airways, and she absolutely loved it. So I don't know, it just got me kind of thinking about it. So I did apply, I did get the job, and I was like going through the application process, but at the same time, obviously, applications with British Airways can take up to like 6 months. So I found a job in the meantime, which was actually in HR. Started picking it up, I was an admin, very like entry-level role, and I was doing my studies at home in the meantime. And it's actually so crazy because I ended up really enjoying HR. I enjoyed helping people. I felt like it was like really one-to-one focused, and I think like that ultimately is the reason I went into law. I want to help people, I want to kind of make people's lives easier. I get a lot of joy out of that. So being able to do it in a very like one-to-one direct way, I found really fulfilling. So I actually then ended up pulling out of the application process with British Airways and sticking in HR, because it sounds so weird, because I know in like media, and if you don't work in HR, it seems like such a boring job, but it's not all admin. A lot of it's really nice, being able to work with employees and talk to them about what's going on and how we can improve things for employees as well. I found it really nice. I found it really fulfilling. So yeah, I really kind of fell into it. I'm not writing off law for the rest of my life. I absolutely loved studying law, even though like the working and the studying at the same time was really difficult. The actual studying of law I loved, and I at one point want to go back and do my masters, to be honest. If I was able to go back and not work, because obviously at that point I'll probably have kids or something, I would really, really love to do that. So I'm not writing it out of my life forever. I just think right now it's not the right season for me, especially because I'm 25 now, I'm going to be 26 in September. I want to start thinking about building my family. I am so broody. It's bad. So it's not like I'm living to anyone else's timeline, but actually I'd really like to start a family soon, and so would my partner. So it's something that I am not ready to do 12-hour days at a firm and really grind it out. That's not kind of the season I'm in at the moment. I feel like I'm much more leaning towards slow living and more holistic and wellness stuff and well-being. So maybe not now, but maybe in the future. But the chapter's kind of away at the moment. Anyway, so like I said, I was working this HR job that I absolutely loved. I was doing my studying in the evenings and the weekends, and then exams rolled around and I did them. I ended up graduating. It's actually so funny looking back at it now, because that one exam that I did the year before was the lowest grade I have ever gotten, ever. I still passed, but yeah, did not pass that one with flying colours, which is absolutely fine, but all the ones I did the year I deferred, the second go around, I did really, really well in. It was definitely more of a showcase of my ability. It was much more aligned to what I was being predicted, etc, etc. So it just goes to show the difference of what a year can do and the importance of putting yourself first. So if you're in a situation where you're at uni or some sort of similar thing and you're really pushing yourself and being mean to yourself, it's good to push yourself in a healthy way, but deep down, if you're falling apart and your body's not working, if you can take the time, just do what you need to do. That would be my advice to anyone. So yeah, graduation was a really great moment for me. Absolutely loved it. Really proud of myself for getting through what was a really difficult time. I mean, going through uni while COVID was going on was a lot. So yeah, it's a really good achievement. And I got a good grade as well. So pat on the back for me there. Then not long after, the most exciting news in my opinion is we got our puppy Tank, who you've probably seen featured in my newer videos if you've seen them. He is our little Staffordshire Bull Terrier. He is just turned 2 now, so he's growing up so much. He is the best ever. I love him so much. He is literally my child, my firstborn child. He has brought so much light and so much positivity into our lives, and yeah, I just love him so much. I did actually film when we got Tank, and I've got some clips of him as a puppy, so I'm probably going to do a video and that come out in the next couple of months probably, because it's so cute. He looked like a little hamster when he was born. It's just adorable. But yeah, I definitely want to share that with you guys, but that has been a major thing. He's such a big part of our lives. He's such a big character, and I truly try and be the best dog parent I can be and give him the best life I can. So he's very integrated with our lives. My life revolves around the dog, so you'll definitely see more of him as well as I keep uploading. And then the next big thing was, not long after I got Tank, I actually changed jobs again. So I'm still in HR, but I wanted to go somewhere where I could progress a little bit more and hopefully progress my career forward. So yeah, I did that, and then I've been promoted in that role as well. So I am slowly working my way up the little HR rung, and yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. But anyway, so that pretty much brings us up to the end of 2023, going into 2024. Going into 2024, I felt like things were slowly but surely coming together. I changed jobs. I hadn't been promoted in this role yet, but I changed jobs. I had Tank. I felt like things were slowly but surely coming together. We were going in a routine. I was done with uni. God, I had my whole life in front of me. The world was my oyster. Yeah, I was feeling really excited for the new year. Sean had actually gone away to the Falkland Islands. I think he left in November time and was due to come back in February. So 4 months, which isn't the longest we've done, but is a good solid chunk of time. And I just spent Christmas and New Year's with my family, and I was literally thinking 2024 is going to be my year. This is the year where I start uploading to YouTube again, I get into social media, I go back to all of these things because I feel so much more settled. And then of course, because I say that, the universe is like, you thought? Did you really think that? No, that's not happening. So in January 2024, unfortunately my partner Sean got in a really, really bad accident at work, and I won't go too into it, and I'm not going to speak for him at all because his experience is his experience. I'm not going to share that for him, but what it basically surmounted in was Sean breaking his spine really severely, to the point where it's like a literal miracle that A, he's alive, and B, he's like fully functioning, like he's like and it was a very, very, very slim chance that that was going to be the end result, but we're so lucky that obviously he is okay now. It was a really, really traumatic piece of time, mostly for Sean, of course, because it's him that's going through it, but it was also really difficult as a family as well, because to see someone you love go through something like that is obviously just horrible. It's the worst thing ever, and knowing that there's nothing you can do to fix it or help them really. You can try and like offer support and be there, but that's all you can really do. And I think that is one of the hardest things, and actually just wrapping your head around the circumstance. I mean, it's so scary how quickly things can change, and I feel like it really, really set me back in a lot of ways with my anxiety. A lot of the progress I'd made. I'd actually been going to therapy since I'd moved to Windsor on like quite a regular basis, and I'd worked so much on like my independence and not feeling like anxious when I like left people and stuff like that, and this actually really made me regress, unfortunately, where I remember like this time last year I didn't want to leave Sean's side because I knew that if he was with me, then I knew he was safe and I knew nothing was going to happen to him. And we've come a long way since then. Like obviously he's not here with me right now, so and he's fine. But the whole situation, the crash, like it affected us obviously in very different ways. Obviously Sean a lot more so than me. But yeah, it's quite difficult as well to navigate your feelings, because if you're anything like me, during the whole situation I was thinking like, well, I'm not really entitled to feel any sort of way. I'm not really like able to feel sad because I don't want to take up too much room. And then when you've got someone who you tell everything, your partner, your life partner, your best friend, and suddenly you feel like you can't tell them how you're feeling because you don't want to take anything away from them. It's a really, really difficult thing to navigate. I really felt like last year I was just trying to like hold everything together. I was trying to be the best fiance, also like a good sister, a good friend, and I felt like I just wasn't okay in myself either. So I felt like I was trying to like hold everything together, but I was kind of showering as well, but not really acknowledging it. Like, I didn't really take much time off work. I didn't really like prioritize myself at all. I just kind of grin and beared it because that's how I've always been. I've gone through a lot of periods of anxiety and stress in my life, and I've always just kind of dealt. Like, I haven't quit school, I haven't quit doing stuff. I've always just kind of found a way through and told myself it's temporary. And I think I did that in this situation, which I needed to do. You know, Sean needed to be my main focus last year, but I think that did impact me a lot, obviously. Even stuff like we were eating so badly last year because I was too exhausted to cook. Sean couldn't cook, so we just kept getting takeaways and stuff. And both of us have put on a little bit of weight, which is absolutely fine, by the way. I feel like I'm actually in so much of a better place with food, which is really good. I think we've both just been like, ugh, let's get a Domino's or whatever it is, and we did that quite a lot last year, so that's kind of impacted us financially and physically, unfortunately. I also just never had any energy to work out or go to the gym or anything like that, so yeah, it's not been the best like health self-care year last year, but we're working our way back slowly but surely. And then going into 2025, I was just really happy that it wasn't 2024 anymore, to be honest. Like, that was all that was in my head. I was quite apathetic towards it, to be honest. I think looking back now, I can see that I was like really lulling into a state of depression. I mean, I have depression, anxiety. I have like a whole raffle of mental health things, but like, just because I have depression doesn't mean I'm depressed all the time. It definitely peaks and troughs. But I felt like I was like slowly kind of seeping into depression and really kind of losing myself as well. So yeah, I just kind of didn't really have any big aspirations for 2025. I was just kind of like, well, thank God it's not 2024 anymore. I just look back and I felt like I was like just really numb. And yeah, it's a bit sad, really. I then tried to go back to work in January after the Christmas break, and I just hit a hard wall of burnout. I had this gut feeling when I went back to work where I was like, I'm not ready, I can't do this. I can't go into work and pretend everything's fine like I had been doing for so long. And I think I've got a running theme in my life similar to the YouTube stuff before, where I kind of like wait for something external to change and that will influence how I feel, whereas that's not how things work. So I think maybe last year I kind of was like, oh, maybe time heals all wounds, maybe I'll feel better after, you know, the new year or whatever. And I went back to work, I was just like, I can't do it. I'm just not in the right state of mind. I just felt no interest in my job because, you know, when something this big happens to people you love, again, it really puts things into perspective, but sometimes in a bit of a negative way, like nothing else matters, you know, and that's not a conducive way of thinking. But it was just how I felt. So I ended up taking some holiday early in January to try and like sort myself out. I ended up sleeping the whole week because I was just so exhausted. Went back to work, tried to like carry on with it, and then I really hit a hard stop with burnout in, was it like March, April time? My body just gave up. I ended up having a little emotional mentee bee in the office. But yeah, I was like away in a room, so I wasn't in front of everyone, thank God. But yeah, I just kind of broke down, and I'd already gone through like a bit of a phase of not really eating, not looking after myself. And it wasn't like not eating, because I was like, oh, you know, I'm not going to eat tonight. I just had no appetite, I had no energy, I had no want or will or interest in food. So this is kind of where like my depression really like went low. I was like waking up every morning for work and crying because I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to keep like feeling this way about my days. So I ended up going to the GP that evening after my cry at work, and she wrote me off for 2 weeks, told me to go sort myself out, which really helped me actually. And I do want to do a little video about burnout and, you know, how it affected me and what's helped me, because I really used that 2 weeks to kind of build myself back up, and I think I did a really good job of doing it. It was a really difficult time. Again, I felt so guilty for needing that time away, but actually in hindsight, if it was a friend coming and telling me all of this stuff, I'd be like, yeah, no wonder you needed time off. But because it's myself, again, really harsh negative talk, which is not helpful. But yeah, I feel like one of the biggest lessons I've learned through all of this is, like I said, I can't just keep waiting for the life I want to happen. I need to make it happen. And that's not an overnight thing, but thinking and doing little steps to try and get me there, and keep trying to work towards goals in little ways. There's never the perfect time to do anything, but actually if you just keep doing, like I say, little baby steps, you'll get there eventually. I really want to work on my perfectionism as well, because like I say, it makes me do videos 6 times over. Probably didn't need to, but it's just such a balance of like wanting to put something out there that I'm proud of, that feels authentic to me, but also not overthinking it as well. That's still something I'm learning and I'm trying to get right. But yeah, while I was off, I went back to my old YouTube files and I started opening stuff up and editing it for the first time in a very long time. Like I said, I've been filming everything. Well, not everything, but a lot of stuff. The past few years, I've just not had the courage to edit it and upload it. But when I uploaded that first video, I felt so happy and so fulfilled, and I was like, this is what I've been missing, this feeling. It's really helped me, and it's so nice to kind of remember that feeling, because I think it's that feeling that you kind of come back to, you know, like runner's high. You get that like boost of endorphins, like, yeah, this is why I do this. And I think with too much distance and too much time, you can kind of forget that. But I'm really glad I did. And yeah, I'm just so happy to be doing this again. So yeah, on that note, as you can probably tell, I'm hopefully going to be doing this a lot more and sticking around, being a lot more consistent. I might not be able to do every single Wednesday, but I'm going to try and at least do every other Wednesday. Obviously, I am juggling it around full-time work, a puppy, and various other things. Sean and I, very excitingly, are also finally planning our wedding. So we've got a little registry office wedding in less than a month now, which is crazy to say. And we've got a big celebration next year. We're doing them separately just so we can have a bit more flexibility around the big book celebration. But yeah, that is all super exciting and super fun. Financially not fun. Wedding planning is very, yeah. But the actual planning itself is really fun and it's really exciting. Like I said, Sean and I are really looking forward to building our little family together. I mean, we've already started it with Tank, but we've got so much exciting stuff coming up and I can't wait to document it and keep sharing. So hopefully you'll stick along with me and hopefully these videos are enjoyable and yeah. So in terms of kind of like my plan, like I said, I'm going to try and upload here as consistently as I can. Just kind of do like videos about what I'm getting up to, some vlogs. I want to do a little wedding planning video because I feel like that could be fun. But I am going to probably be a little bit more active on TikTok. I've already posted a few little wedding-y videos on there about like us giving notice and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that type of thing, head over to my TikTok. I'm also doing 75 soft at the moment on the run up to my wedding, not because I'm like trying to diet or anything like that. Again, we just weren't looking after ourselves last year, so I'm trying to feel a little bit more confident in my own skin, not a weight thing, but more like, I don't know, looking after myself. So that's going to be all documented on TikTok as well. So go have a little nosy. I've been so bad at Instagram. I literally I get anxiety over Instagram now. For the longest time, I literally posted every single day. And now I just get too stressed to even deal with it. I've got so many pictures that I want to post. But then I get stressed. I'm like, oh, has it been too long? And it's not even that deep. It really isn't. And I don't want to not post those old pictures because they are memories. And I'm a very sentimental gal, which is why I don't delete my old posts. And I've got thousands of posts on my page. But yeah, I'm going to try get back into Instagram. So maybe head over there. I post stories from time to time, so you can go enjoy that. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to anyone who subscribed to me back in 2020, 2021 and who is still here now. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate your patience, even if maybe you didn't even realise you were still subscribed. Appreciate you. I'm really hoping that I'm able to build a little nice community on this little section of the internet where we can all kind of support each other and it's all about growth and looking after ourselves. I would really, really love that. I feel like I've changed so much as well since I used to upload as a person. I feel like I've grown up, I've matured, my perspective on a lot of things have changed and hopefully for the better. So it'd be really nice to show you guys all of that as well and yeah, and talk to you a little bit about kind of what I see next. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around for all of this waffle and a very long catch up indeed. I hope it was nice background music for whatever you were doing, or yeah, just a nice little cozy catch up for the end of the day. But I've got a very sleepy and weary pooch who is sleeping on the sofa opposite me. So I think it's time for us to head up to bed and get a cozy night. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you there. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.